بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I was a searcher. I always called myself a seeker of knowledge, because Christianity wasn't doing it for me. So I went over here and I went over there and I landed in Islam.
The Quran, the ideas of it just kept shining like a diamond. And in fact, it was scary for me because I actually didn't want to become Muslim. I was terrified of what that might mean.
I don't think I thought I would convert. I think I wondered if I ever would.
When I decided to become a Muslim woman, now I had to start thinking about the reactions of others. Am I going to care? Is it going to affect me? I prepared myself with thick skin.
Valerie Clausen is returning home from Ottawa to Dundas, Ontario, to visit her parents for the weekend. Valerie is 26 years old and a Muslim convert. She's part of the fastest-growing religion in the world and in Canada. Today, Islam is the second largest religion in the country, but despite its growing presence, it hasn't been an easy move for Valerie. She's confident in her decision to convert, but it comes with challenges and a dose of heartache. She grew up in a Christian home, and her family is struggling to come to terms with her choice.
I've been a Muslim for 6 months approximately. I converted in April of this year. But it's strange to say that because Islam has been a part of my life for so much longer than that. So, it's a process. It's not, a one-time, now I'm a Muslim, everything's different kind of thing for me.
Valerie has always taken religion very seriously. Growing up, she attended church every Sunday with her family.
I remember going to a conference, a youth Christian conference in Toronto, and we parked in a parking lot next to a mosque. And I remember seeing all these Muslims leaving the mosque and thinking, oh, they're just, they're so close to the truth, but they're missing the key of Jesus as the Son of God, the Savior, the Messiah.
In university, Valerie majored in religious studies. It was here that she started to take an interest in Islam, both in class and out. Valerie learned the pillars of Islam in an Intro to Religious Studies course, but her interest peaked in third year. That's when she started dating Noab, an Afghan Muslim.
I dated him for 6 years until now, so people have asked me all along the way, will you convert? Do you have to convert? Do you want to convert? And I always tried to give the same answer, and that was I would only convert if I came to realize that I believed it. I didn't want to involve him in that decision-making at all because I didn't want him to ever have the expectation that that's what the outcome would be. I told him, you need to operate your decisions with me and our life together on the assumption that I will never be Muslim, ever. I remember on the day that I converted thinking, I can't deny that this is where I'm at.
Valerie's stepfather, Mark, is supportive but concerned. It's still a topic that's too sensitive for her mother.
I have a fear of my daughter losing herself, being oppressed in this culture. And I remember at one time Nawab coming to the driveway to pick up my daughter, but not coming to the door. And I'll be honest with you, whether he was a Muslim, a Jew, a Christian, a Buddhist, or a Hindu, I would still say, you come to the door and you pick up my daughter. And actually I had that conversation with him, and now he does. But I had to do that, which I would have done anyway as a parent, but I did it also with this backdrop of my fears of losing my daughter to a religion that may oppress.
Strangers can't tell Valerie's religion by looking at her, but Bianca Beckford is easily recognized. She converted 2 years ago and wears a headscarf known as a hijab. Bianca's husband had converted before they met, and they recently got married in a mosque in Toronto. The city has a larger Muslim population than the rest of Canada combined, but even here, Bianca's hijab draws attention.
The first time I put hijab on, it took me 45 minutes to leave my house. 45 minutes of just looking in the mirror. I could probably tell you every crack and crevice on my face because I was just like, okay, if I do this, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? This is it. Like, I'm gonna have this hijab on and I'm gonna be recognized as a Muslim.
Next stop, Old Brook Road.
So one lady on the bus gave me the dirtiest look, and you know, you're doing the pan view. You're just on the bus and you're just looking around and you just catch, and it was just like, whoa. I looked at the lady and I was like, whoa, lady. I said, there is no reason for you to look at me like that. You don't even know me.
As Bianca waits for the bus, a woman approaches her. The conversation starts off friendly, but turns to pointed questions about her hijab. It happens so often that neither Bianca nor her husband are surprised.
See, Bianca is Jamaican. The other woman there is Jamaican, right? So they get to talking and she hears that she's Jamaican, so automatically it becomes, what makes you a Muslim? And she's explaining why she's a Muslim, and she's saying, no, Jesus is the only way.
The older people from my culture were very hard on me, strangers. Like, you know, just very hard. The looks people give you, like you're the lowest of the low.
Catherine Bullock knows this reaction all too well. She is an expert in Islam at the University of Toronto and has published several books on the subject of Muslim women in Western society. She embraced Islam in 1991.
If it was a different religion like Sikhism or Judaism, nobody would particularly care, but because of Islam's special place as sort of the enemy other in Western consciousness, it makes the conversion experience potentially really traumatic. It seems to me that there is the bulk of the stories you'll find in the mainstream media are about the veil as an oppression, and they'll find women who did find it oppressive or countries where it is oppressive, and those little stories will be blanketed out to stand in for everyone, so that the scarf stands for Muslims and Muslims stand for Osama bin Laden.
I had a lot of stupid friends, like, you know what I mean, that have kind of fizzled out of my life since then because, you know, their minds, it was just, yeah, they'd ask me stuff like that, like, are you gonna become a terrorist? Does that mean you're gonna start bombing places? And, like, you know, are you gonna, or does that mean that you're never gonna speak anymore? And, you know, the conception of Muslim women is they're very docile, they're very introverted, and, you know, and I'm just not that type of person. And so everybody thought I would become that type of person because now I'm Muslim.
But Bianca may have thought the same thing before she converted. She admits she didn't always have the facts on Islam either.
What I knew about Islam was that the men beat the women up, and that the women had to walk 3 feet behind the men. They were totally oppressed, and that they were tyrants.
One of Bianca's best friends in high school was Muslim. He challenged her to learn about Islam. Bianca says she learned about the difference between culture and religion. And after reading the Quran cover to cover, she decided to convert. But not everyone is so open-minded. While Valerie's stepfather, Mark, is cautiously supportive, her dad and his wife want nothing to do with it. He's taken to Facebook to post links to anti-Islam articles, including propaganda like this, which paints Muslims as violent terrorists.
It really hurts. I think it feels that they must not know me or what I'm, you know, how intelligent I am, how cautious I am, you know, how thoughtful I am and how thorough I am. I don't know how they think that I would just jump into something so serious without really having given it a lot of thought.
So there are these pressures, and not everyone survives them actually. People do after a year or two just, I can't handle this, and take off the scarf and go back to sort of anonymity.
For Zainab Pike, it's a lifetime commitment. She converted in 1985 while living in Toronto and stayed committed to Islam when she moved to Peterborough about 5 years ago. But being a small-town Muslim was an entirely different experience, especially for a white woman.
Coming here was quite a cultural shock, though. It's like coming to another planet, let's say, because it's so one-sided in terms of it's not very multicultural. I wish that people would ask me questions instead of just staring all the time, because that was something that was a little bit hard to get used to. Even though I was used to it in Toronto in the beginning, people used to stare a lot. But here, definitely, they stare like all the time, like constantly.
Zainab is the only female board member of her mosque. The mosque was converted from a church about 10 years ago. Zainab has been married twice, both times to Muslim men. When she moved her children to Peterborough, her daughter was the only Muslim in her school. Now, as the congregation grows, the mosque is looking for more space. Zainab is deeply involved with her mosque, but other converts say it's hard to make a connection in the Muslim community. Converts often stick together.
I have a lot of friends who are converts, so it's funny because I really am closer with a lot of white Muslims, you know. I'm really fortunate to have that in my life.
None of these converts have met, but their challenges are the same, and they face them head on. They stand up for their choice, simply by living as Muslim women.
But if people really see you out there, that you're involved in the community, the wider community, that they really can like put a face on, you know, your, let's say, local Islamic community.
I'm just a human being. I tell people that all the time. Like, I get the looks, I'll be like, they're just clothes. And I'll keep walking, they're just clothes. Or, I'm just a woman, just like you. Like, I do that.
The more that Canadians in general get used to Muslims, the less weird it'll be that someone has chosen to be a Muslim.
For Valerie, there are still a lot of unknowns, and a lot of questions to answer for herself and for her family.
What would the wedding look like? Would there be a wedding? Who would be at the wedding? What would the life look like after the wedding? If there were children, where would they be?
From the time of conversion, I have not known what that will mean for my day-to-day, and that will be true for the rest of my life. Do I know that I would be a good Muslim? I don't know. Do I know that I would, you know, be able to maintain a consistent approach to Islam? I don't know. I mean, I think any person of faith goes through points where, you know, they're not as committed, or where it's harder, or where they're questioning more. But my intention is to, you know, to continue my life as a Muslim.
For the Ryerson Documentary Unit, I'm Alison Hall.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين